circumstances for context, cultural framework for content. Very good. They got it? Okay, get out a sheet of paper and put your names on it, please. Put 3 points at the top as well as your table number. And y'all can't answer for a little while. Here we go. Tell me the purpose of the 1885 Berlin West African Conference. That's straight off your review sheet. There's a question that asks you, what is the purpose of the 1885 Berlin West African Conference? Anybody know what question number that is? Number 2. Yes?
It's for natural resources and low-cost free labor.
But what did they do? What did this conference do? Yes?
It's the division of labor in society.
No.
Oh,
right.
wait. Was to...
No, he said that it's a... Who's next?
This will be next.
Okay.
Is it to give Africans and colonies and their continent's resources?
You bet. It divided the African continent among the colonial powers. Yes, it was for resources. Yes, it was for division of labor. But what it did was divide the continent. Okay? Zipping right along. In the division of labor, Durkheim observed that an increase in what intensifies the demand for resources. Page 118. The increase in what intensifies the demand for resources. Page 118. And this is also on your review sheet about division of labor in Durkheim. Page 118. Durkheim observed that an increase in what intensifies the demand for resources. Yes, ma'am.
Has stimulated people to find more efficient methods for producing goods and services, resulting in division of labor.
Yeah, but I need specifically an increase in something that makes the demand for those resources.
The population size and density.
Yeah, that's correct. But be careful. Remember, after you've said it once, you got to sit back down and let others, because it's not fair that you just keep on going till you get there.
Oh, okay.
Because other people are standing up. Okay. But you're off the hook, so you don't worry.
Okay.
They're done.
Okay, they're done. Okay, pass your sheet once you're through. Over to that table, please. Next, here we go. Tell me, which of these is an ascribed status? Listen, which of these is an ascribed status? All right. Is it a musician, a student, a male, or a U.S. citizen? Are you up?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay.
Male.
Male is correct. Now, some people will say U.S. citizen could be ascribed, but guess what? I wasn't born here. I became an achieved status, U.S. citizen. Okay. Achieved statuses result from what? Achieved statuses result from what? You've already answered correctly, so don't do it again. What you got?
Social status is acquired through a combination of personal choice, effort, and ability.
You're right. Effort, a choice, and ability. Okay? When the second table is through writing their names, please pass it over to table 3. Here we go. Tell me, what is the difference between status and roles in one word each? People do what with statuses and people do what with roles. And that's straight off your notes. I'll say the difference between status and roles are blah, blah, blah. You've already answered? You have to wait till everyone is. Okay?
Y'all already answered.
What you got?
In one word.
I mean, go ahead and tell me what you got.
People occupy statuses and they play roles.
Yes. So the people occupy statuses and they enact or play roles. Very good. Here we go. We're good? Okay. One more. Here we go. Rebecca is working the customer service desk at a department store. Now she's expected to serve all the customers at the counter, and at the same time she's expected to answer the phone, give rain checks for out-of-stock items, restock returned merchandise, and fill out defective forms for defective merchandise. During heavy shopping days, she's likely to experience what? It's a vocabulary word. There's 2 of them. It's one of the difficulties we have in our day-to-day interactions. There's 2 of them. It's a vocabulary word. It's on page 128. Give you lots of hints. She's working in one position, but she's got all this stuff to do. She can't get it all done at once. What is that called? Yes, it is.
Roll strain.
Roll strain is correct. Hallelujah. Okay, we're moving on. Next, in contrast to Western-oriented physicians, traditional healers do what? This is also straight off your review sheet. Number 8, 9, or 10 or something down there. Is there one about traditional Western healers and traditional healers? You bet. That's good enough. So the traditional healers focus more on social relationships, things other than technology and biology, which the Western would. Here we go. Is that everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, now everyone, no, wait. Our 2 spotters here. Y'all decide which one's ready first. So you get to choose them, okay? Here's the question, you guys. This one is something that was not in lecture, so it's straight from your textbook. Which theory relies on the assumption that people make sense of their own and others' behavior by assigning a cause? Which theory? This is the 4th theory of studying sociology of everyday life. I didn't discuss it in class. And we assigned it a cause. Attribution theory is correct. Okay, you're on your own, Mark. Here we go. What was the conclusion of the door ceremony? It's a social ritual that demonstrates what? Okay, and that is the door ceremony, but what was the conclusion? There was 2, and I just want the first one. The second one said the stuff that happens on the micro level is attached to what's going on at the macro level, but the first one says what? Somebody help him out.
Social interaction at the micro level,
that's the one I just said. Say the one about that.
Is quite differently by different people according to symbolic meaning that it has for them.
You bet. So the same act can be interpreted differently by different people depending on symbolic meaning. Excellent. We're going to keep on going?
Yes.
Did the paper go around? Is everybody signing? Be sure our spotters get to sign also. Tell me. I want to know if this is true or false, and then I want you to explain it. Okay? So here we go. Yeah, and no, we're still on the same one. So you answer. If you answer, you have to say it's true or false, and then you have to explain it. Do facial expressions and gestures have the same meaning in all cultures? Yes or no, and then explain it.
False. You know about how like thumbs up and like here means good job, and somewhere else it's like sticking.
So gestures mean things differently in different cultures. What about facial expressions? It's universal. So one is culturally universal, the other one's culturally relative. Got it? Okay, zipping right along. Tell me, what is the theory or the name for the method of analyzing social interaction as if participants were actors on a stage acting out a role? You're close. Drama something. Dramaturgy. Dramaturgy. Here we go. Next. Tell me, from a sociological point of view, employees who greet customers with a smile, even though they really don't like them, are engaging in what kind of behavior? Hi, I'm so glad you picked me. When you were going, please don't put me in my station. But when they're in front of the, so what is it called? Front stage behavior, okay? The professor feels that students who failed his first exam didn't take good notes, read the book, or devote enough time to study for the exam. He's attributing their failure to what vocabulary word? They didn't do the work. The vocabulary word that goes with attribution theory. Okay, let's try this, because we need both of them. Let's say I take a test and I fail, and I say, well, it's not my fault that I failed the test. It's the teacher made it use real words that were tricky and everything. So that one's called what?
Scapegoat.
Not scapegoat.
Situational factor.
That one's situational. Now the other one is, he said, yes, dispositional. He said it's because they didn't do the work. So that's dispositional. You got it? A lot of times we do that. When it's us, we say it's because of situational stuff. When it's other people, we say it's because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. Isn't that amazing how that works? Okay, zipping right along. One technique used by Garfinkel to study unacknowledged patterns of everyday life was what? Ethnomethodology is what we're talking about, but what was the way he, what technique did he use to find out what the patterns were?
Expose rules by breaking them?
Yes, break the rules. Very good. In Zimbardo's experiment, when college students were placed in a mock prison at Stanford University, which category or categories showed through their actions that the imaginary prison had become real for them? Yeah, so what were the two categories? The two groups.
Either the guards or the prisoners.
Okay, so guards or prisoners were the groups. Which ones showed that their imaginary prison had become real for them? Both. Very good. Both the prisoners and the guards. Harvard Law School study found that the Chinese government blocked internet users' access to websites sponsored by Time Magazine, National Public Radio, and the Washington Post. What is this type of social control called? When you block the internet and don't let people find information. What kind of social control is it? It's a vocabulary word. Yes.
Surveillance?
Close. Someone said it over here.
Censorship.
Censorship is correct. Censorship. What is, according to Hershey, deviance is most likely to occur when the bond between the individual and the society is weak or non-existent. What kind of theory is that? What is Hershey's theory called? Remember? Yes.
Control theory?
Control theory is correct. Tell me, I'm sorry, we're in the didn't catch that. Why was the People's Republic of China chosen to study deviance? That's the very first question on the review sheet. If you got 10 points, if you got 6 points, you should know this one.
Because of the change from back in the 60s to today.
You bet. Many of the behaviors that constituted deviance during the Cultural Revolution are no longer considered deviant today. Excellent. Staff Sergeant Ivan Frederick testifies that when at the Abu Ghraib prison, I questioned some of the things I saw, such as leaving inmates in their cells with no clothes or a female underpants. The answer I got was, this is how military intelligence wants it done. The dynamics that Fredericks described correspond with which of those theories on the bottom of your review sheet, page 184. What's happening? And we talked about this in class in another chapter. Pardon? Yes, obedience to authority. They did what they were told even though they didn't agree. Okay? Which of the following, what are the 4 functions of Durkheim's theory of deviance? 4 functions of deviance. That's straight off your review sheet too. Also your notes. Yes?
We got affirm cultural, classify, and promote.
So affirms cultural norms and values,
Developing and classify the moral,
clarifies moral boundaries,
promote social unity,
promotes social unity,
encourage social change.
encourages social change. Excellent. The view that deviance is an interactive process whereby a society or a group within a society defines certain behavior as deviant, identifies people who engage in that behavior as deviance, and then treats them as outcasts is characteristic of what theory? We say these people are the bad people. We treat them that way. What's that called? We played a game for it. Labeling theory. A student is not allowed to participate in a review session because they didn't turn in the answers to the chapter reviews. Happened today, didn't it? This is an example of what kind of sanction? First, is it positive or negative? Negative. Is it formal or informal?
Informal.
Is it informal?
No,
Formal. Because It's written in stone.